Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day today and I hope you're ready for this. Kinda ready, like as ready as I can be. Hopefully it's not too terrifying, but there's only one way to find out. Enjoy the episode, guys. Am I the a-hole for leaving my girlfriend after she constantly belittled me in front of her friends? Oh no, I hate that so much. I can't stand when people do stuff like that. I'm 26 and I just got out of a 2-year relationship. I ended things a few weeks ago and she, female 26, has been telling everybody that I blindsided her. But I don't feel bad about it. For most of the relationship, she had this habit of making me the joke around her friends. She'd call me soft because I wasn't confrontational, make fun of my job. I'm an engineer, and even joked once that I was the woman in the relationship because I cook and clean more than she does. Her friends would laugh, and when I put her aside later, she'd just say that I was being too sensitive. Oh my god, that's so frustrating. I know we just started, but she sounds awful. Making fun of your partner and belittling your partner in front of your friends is so crappy and so awful. And then on top of that, to say the classic, oh, you were being too sensitive. OP wasn't being too sensitive. It wasn't just around others either. If I brought up something bothering me, she'd roll her eyes or say that I was starting drama. I stopped talking about stuff that upset me because I knew that it'd either turn into a fight or be dismissed. I finally hit a breaking point when she made a joke at a party about me being the broke one, while I was covering most of our rent along with the utilities and food. I didn't yell, I didn't fight, I left that night and I didn't go back. Now she's posting online about how I'm ghosting her, and her friends are messaging me saying that I should have talked things through instead of walking away. But I feel like I did talk for 2 years. Am I the a-hole? No, not at all. And hey friends, stay out of their relationship. Yeah, the top comment, bad-mouthing your partner in front of your friends is the most disrespectful thing ever. Not the a-hole. Yeah, I can't believe that you lasted as long as you did. That's so wild too that she would be like, oh, you're being too sensitive, when OP would bring up the hurtful stuff that she said. Like, OP's not being too sensitive, you're being awful. And something about her friends messaging OP sort of pisses me off too. Her friends are messaging me saying that I should have talked things through instead of walking away. Like, hey friends, this is not your business. Don't tell OP that they shouldn't walk away. Are you in the relationship? No. Like, stay out of it. Like, hey friends, were you disrespected for 2 years? This comment says tell her that she's too soft and too dramatic to be in a relationship. This comment says not the a-hole. If she'd ever actually listened to you, she wouldn't have been blindsided. And also, are these the friends that were laughing when OP's partner was making fun of OP, and now they're telling OP to talk it out instead of walking away? Yeah, like this comment says, good for you, in no way, shape or form are you the a-hole. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, she doesn't respect you as a man and you deserve better. Tell her friends that you tried to communicate about her bad behavior and she repeatedly dismissed you, and then blocked them. Yes, so not the a-hole, you had to get out of there. Like this comment says, life is too short to stay in a miserable relationship. Yeah, like talking it out wasn't an option. By the sounds of it, it was not going to get better. You'd be the a-hole to yourself if you stayed. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole, and all the comments are definitely not the a-hole too. And what a way to start the episode. Yeah, like belittling your partner is so awful, but like making rude jokes about your partner in front of your friends to try to be funny. Like when you see somebody do that, you don't think, oh, you're so funny. You think, why are you doing that to your partner? It's so cringy. Like one of those situations where somebody's saying stuff about somebody to try to make them look bad, but it doesn't really make them look bad. It makes the person who's saying it look bad. Okay, post number 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to return a dog that I adopted to his original owner? About a little over a year ago, I went through probably the worst time in my adult life. I was engaged and I found out that my fiance was cheating on me. I was living in a condo that he owned, and even though he wanted to try to make things work, I couldn't do it, so I left and I moved home temporarily. Moving home at 32 wasn't in my plans, and it took a toll on me mentally and emotionally. I was sad, I was embarrassed, and my mental health wasn't good. Fortunately, I have supportive parents, an awesome job that let me take some leave, and I got my mental health back to at least stable. For quite a while, eating and sleeping were a major struggle. Finding motivation wasn't great. After a lot of therapy and tough work, I started to feel somewhat human again, but still very sad. I found an apartment and I'd been considering adopting a pet. I talked it over with my therapist and she told me that she thought it could be good for me. I went to a local rescue thinking thinking that I'd find a puppy that I could raise and care for. What I didn't expect was finding an older dog. He's 7, who'd been given up when his owners were expecting a child. He was so sad, and honestly a bigger breed than what I was thinking of, but I grew up with dogs. The woman at the rescue told me his backstory. His owner had him prior to getting married, and the wife wanted the dog gone because she felt that he wouldn't be safe around her baby. He had no history of aggression and just seemed timid and depressed. I instantly connected with this dog. We went for a walk and I knew that I'd be taking him home. That was almost 10 months ago, and I honestly have to say we've made each other's life dramatically better. I cook for him, we watch movies. He's amazing motivation for me to get out and walk every day. I have human friends, of course, but this dog is my bestie, and I can't imagine not having him. This brings us to the issue at hand. Apparently the people who surrendered him realized that the wife forcing the dog out is now a mistake. They contacted the rescue, who in turn contacted me. I was absolutely floored that they would even ask me if I was willing to speak with his ex-family. Apparently there's something where I guess pregnant women become fearful or whatever with animals. The husband never wanted to give the dog up, but it was an ultimatum the wife gave. I told them there was no way that I'd be willing to traumatize my dog or give him back to people who tossed him away. I feel the fact that they were even asking this upset me, because animals aren't something you toss away or whatever and then get to change your mind. I asked them not to contact me again, and I blocked the rescue on social media because I was afraid his old owner would find me there. I can't even imagine being pressured to give up somebody like a dog that you've had for years, but I feel like that's not my problem. Losing him would be horrible for both of us. I feel like we found each other for a reason. Am I being selfish or am I in the right here? Update, I want to thank most of the people who commented. It made me feel a lot more justified in my feelings and how I reacted. I appreciate all of your feedback. No, not the a-hole OP like this comment says. They gave up the dog and you have since given it a loving home. It's not your responsibility to help the previous owner rectify his mistake. Pets are family members, and the previous owner chose to walk away from that, not the a-hole. And OP said, that's how I feel. He's family to me and I can't imagine not having him. Yeah, and the response too, and you are family to him. Yeah, 100%. The top comment says, not the a-hole. I used to work at a vet and groomer place. A dog came in for a groom but started showing abnormal signs. Turns out that she went into bloat. The stomach was flipped and twisted. That's a death sentence without treatment. The owners were called but they didn't want to treat or even come and see her. They opted for euthanasia. A receptionist that had known this dog for years offered to take her and foot the bill for the surgery on the condition that the dog now belonged to the receptionist. The owners said whatever, sure. The receptionist then rushes the dog to the emergency vet. The surgery goes well. The receptionist spends days sleeping on the floor with the dog while it recovers from surgery. The old dog owner's rich-ass mum calls the vet practice owner, saying that the old dog owner regrets giving up the dog and wants it back. The vet practice owner forced the receptionist to give back the dog and refunded the receptionist the money for the surgery. The receptionist is literally heartbroken and sobs at work for days. I'll never forgive the vet practice owner for disregarding the receptionist's time and emotion so much and giving the dog back to people who wanted it euthanized. Keep your dog. They don't have a legal leg to stand on. And OP said, I asked a friend that's an attorney and she told me that they couldn't force me to return him. It isn't even the money that I spent on the adoption fee or vet appointments or grooming or food and his stylish wardrobe. I feel like we're so deeply bonded. He sleeps on my bed and I take him everywhere. That's dog appropriate with me. He was in the shelter for a couple of months before I got him, so they waited like a year to decide they wanted him back. I don't think they deserve him. Yeah, and the response to, don't even spare them another thought. This is your family member. This comment says not the a-hole, and you're absolutely right. And a good person for adopting an older dog. At least the shelter didn't give you contact information to the previous owners. And OP said that's my biggest fear. I have posted photos of him on their social media since being happily adopted, so I panicked that they would track me down, so I made sure to remove things and block their Facebook. And the comment below that says not the a-hole, it's been 10 months. You don't owe the original owners anything. And the rescue should not have even asked after that long. They surrendered their dog. They ended that relationship willingly. I could see it if it had been like a week or two, but you're bonded now. It's not fair to either of you. Get the dog chipped if you haven't already, just in case. And OP responded, he is chipped. We went to a vet that I've used for prior pets a day after he was adopted, just for a more thorough checkup and everything. And finally, the comment below that one says not the a see how they failed him once. He's happy with you and far safer than he was with them. Dogs are not objects to be disposed of and passed around at a whim. Give that beautiful dog all the cuddles. And OP said, I work from home the majority of the time, so he's on the couch with me right now snoring away. He gets all the cuddles. Oh, that's so beautiful. The next one. Am I the a-hole for saying no to my friend for the art that they gave me? So about 10 months ago, my friend gave me 3 little artwork pieces that they thought were really ugly and they hated. I absolutely adore them and I think they're very pretty, so I've got them in my living room. And I redecorated my living room and I rearranged everything so that I could have these paintings in a very specific spot. One day they were over and one of my friends that they've yet to meet until that day was over too. My other friend who did not give me the artwork looked up the art pieces through Google Lens because they also liked them and wanted to get some for themselves. That friend found out that the artwork that was given to me was worth $1,000 per piece. And I said, wow, that's an insane price. So the friend who gave me the art pieces told me that I needed to give them back to him, and he started taking them off the wall, and I said, absolutely not, you gave those to me. He started yelling at me because I wouldn't give them back. Then he said that I better pay him $3,000 for all of them. And I said, no, because you gifted them to me almost a year ago. So he told me that he was going to call the police, and then he left because me and my other friend kicked him out. Am I the a-hole for keeping them? Update. So funny thing happened. The other friend who priced them also looked up something that they also gave me and realized the price of it. So both of these friends are wanting their stuff back. So today I'm planning on just giving them the art pieces and the other items that both of them have given me over the past few years. It's really disheartening to have to go through this, but dealing with this drama is worse than just redoing my living room and getting rid of the things that they gave me back to them. The friend who looked up the price of what they gave me said that they were just lending me the items, even though I've got written proof that they were given to me. So both friends are now going to be acquaintances from now on. Life's weird. Update 2. So another funny thing happened. Both of them met up to go hang out because they both made me the common enemy. I did give back the other things to my second friend, but I do have the artwork pieces due to me giving them a couch around the same time that was worth $2,000. The artwork is being appraised currently. One of my siblings' friend's girlfriend appraises artwork. A weird lineup, but we're figuring that out now. She came and grabbed the pieces at about 11 AM today. For some reason, I feel like this art is not going to be worth $3,000 in total. Honestly, life isn't worth this stress, so I'm just going to take it as a loss and move forward. Update number 3, they've been appraised. And this part's actually funny. So the relative of that friend who gave them the art pieces is the one who made them. The relative copied a style from a different artist and recreated the pieces for the friend. The relative signed the back. And when the person who appraised the artwork told me the artist's name, I started laughing because that's that friend's relative. I let that ex-friend know that their relative created the pieces for them. I told him since they were made by his relative, I'd happily give them back. And after I said that, this ex-friend said that I could just throw them away because he didn't want them anymore. Since it had no value money-wise to them, they didn't care. So technically, I've got 3 art pieces that are priceless. Anyway, I thank their relative for creating these pieces because without these pieces, I would have never known the type of people that I was friends with. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Is this real? I don't know. That didn't sound very real to start with, but maybe it is. I'll assume that it is real. It did definitely sound a bit made up. So like the person with the paintings, their relative painted them and then they gave them to OP, but then they realized that they were worth $3,000 because they were thinking that they were original paintings, but then they realized that their relative painted them and they were copies of originals, but they didn't know that. And the other friend who priced them also looked up something that they also gave OP and then realized the price of it and then wanted it back. Like, why? Did they not realize what they were giving them? And the bit where it said, he started yelling at me because I wouldn't give them back. Then he said that I better pay him $3,000 for all of them. And then he told me that he was going to call the police. And then he left because me and my other friend kicked him out. I don't know, I'm a little bit skeptical. The top comment says not the a-hole. Your friend is for pricing your paintings though. That felt somewhat inappropriate in my opinion. The second top comment says not the a-hole, assuming your friend has internet access, they could have looked up the price of the art before they gave it to you. Now it's too late. Too bad for them. And the response says, I don't understand how they could have even made such evaluations, unless they're like a gallerist or art critic. The painting's value is where artist's asking price meets what somebody is actually willing to pay for them. Who the artist is makes a huge difference, and the friend would have known if their paintings would sell for $1,000 a piece. If he did not see them worthy of that, they most likely are not that, no matter what example Google might have presented as similar paintings. And then the legal part, a gift is always the property of the person receiving the gift. The comment below that says, not the a-hole. I mean, really, your friend should have have been cognizant of the value of what he was giving you a year ago when he gave them away. Not your problem. The police won't do anything either. It's a civil matter. He could sue you, but that won't fly either since it was something that he freely gave to you and only wanted it back after the fact when he realized their monetary value. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. This one did seem a little bit far-fetched to me, but I don't know, it might be real. I'm assuming that it is. But yeah, all the comments are not the a-hole. The next one, am I the a-hole for not replacing my nephew's leather jacket after my dog had an accident on it? We've got 3 dogs, one of which we took in recently when his owner died. He's nice but prefers quiet, and when we have guests he'll go upstairs to our bedroom and chill in our bed. Also, he's only ever had dry food, and anything different upsets his stomach, which causes a hygiene issue as he has long fur. This weekend we had family over and everybody brought food for a buffet. My 3 brothers, their wives, and a lot of adult and teen children. We've had issues previously where people don't listen to us about the dogs, and sneaking them food is common, so as they were coming in I was loudly announcing, don't feed Pickles any treats or human food. Anybody caught will be the one upstairs shampooing the poop out of his fur. My sister-in-law Tracy laughed and made some comment about me being unnecessarily graphic, so I pointed out that people hadn't listened in the past, and I was not playing around this time because Pickles was more sensitive than our other dogs. Anyway, later on my husband found a piece of sausage roll on the floor upstairs. Nephew Dave, 19, admitted that he tried to make friends with Pickles by giving him food. My husband and I were not happy, but everybody else brushed it off as not a big deal. I went up to check on Pickles, and that's when I realized that everybody had put their coats in our room when they arrived. They'd always done this in the past, and honestly I never really thought to tell them any different. Anyway, he'd obviously eaten something and got an upset stomach, not wanting to come downstairs with the crowd there, so he'd had a small accident, some of which he'd got on Dave's leather jacket. He's never had an accident in the house before. I called my husband and I took Pickles into the shower to get cleaned up. People came up to see what was happening, and when Dave saw his jacket, he was furious. Raised voice and red-faced, accusing me of making the dog do it on purpose to prove a point. We cleaned it off with some antibacterial wipes and it was completely fine. No smell or marks on the leather, although obviously for hygiene reasons it would need cleaning properly. Well, that was the end of the party. Everybody left pretty quickly, not wanting to be in the middle of it, but Dave and Tracy stayed behind yelling until my brother persuaded them to leave, saying that we'd sort it out later. It was a mess, but honestly I thought it would blow over, but it hasn't. Dave and Tracy are both texting me saying that we need to pay £150 for a new jacket. I keep saying no, it was his own fault, and I was the one who ended up cleaning up the poop. Husband was on my side at first, but is wavering. He says that we knew that they'd ignore us, and we should have taken more care to put the coats in another room. He said that I'm focusing on being technically right. Dave's a teen, and this is not the hill that we should die on. So am I the a-hole? We can afford to replace it. Had Pickles chewed his coat, I'd replace it in a heartbeat, which makes me think that maybe I am the a-hole. I offered to pay cleaning, but that's not good enough for him. Like this comment says, not the a-hole. If anything, tell Dave that you forgive him for making Pickles sick, and he's so lucky that he didn't have to foot the vet bill. He was instructed not to feed the dog, and he did. How is any consequence your responsibility? And the top comment says, you're not the a-hole. Dave is just a teen. Is the bar that low? A teenager understands don't feed the dog people food because it upsets his stomach and causes a mess. He deliberately disregarded that and caused your dog unnecessary discomfort, and you the trouble of cleaning up the mess. Yeah, how old was Dave? 19. Yeah, all the comments are not the a-hole. The comment below that says, no, not the a-hole. What part of don't feed the dog any treats or human food do they not understand? You made it a point to make sure everybody knew not to feed the dog, and even warn them that they would have to pay should he have an accident. This is what you call karma. Dave didn't want to listen. Sweet pup had an accident on his leather jacket. Maybe next time he will listen, although I highly doubt it. And on top of that, for Dave to cause a scene in front of everybody, making everybody super uncomfortable and feeling like they had to leave. And also, by the sounds of it, it doesn't need to be replaced. Like OP said, the jacket should probably be cleaned properly, but they don't need to like throw it out. And OP did offer to pay for it to get cleaned, but that wasn't good enough. They're saying that OP needs to pay £150 for a new jacket, but they don't even need to get a new jacket. OP responded to this comment that says, in all sincerity and not trying to be an a-hole myself, they sound like actual idiots. You're not the a-hole, but your husband seems to be caving to this idiocy, and personally, I hate people pleasing. In my house, you have to suffer the consequences of your actions. He was fully informed of it, but decided to make your dog sick anyway. Complete disregard to the animal's health, which in my opinion, makes the nephew the a-hole period. You just don't do that. You don't just essentially poison your dog. I know and am upset when I've got uncontrollable and poop on myself. How degrading and upsetting for your dog. Ugh. Also, it's a leather. Leather. No smell, no stains, get over it. He's 19 years old. He can learn this lesson without his parents about it. Tell that kid no and that no means no. Edit to add, and you know what? If everybody calmed the down, it'd be a perfect opportunity to sit the nephew down and explain to him why it's so important not to compromise the dog's health. Like, no one enjoys themselves. And to do that to somebody on purpose is a really mean thing. It's not just poop, it's pain. And OP responded, husband is a people pleaser. You're right there. The jacket does seem fine. He won't wear it knowing where it's been, which is, I suspect, in large part down to pride, and the fact that my niece, his cousin 15, has started calling it the poop jacket, which isn't helping. I think next time we'll definitely physically separate the dogs and the guests. And OP's also got this comment, I did offer to pay for professional cleaning, but he insists that it's permanently ruined. I think it's in part because his 15-year-old cousin, my niece, has unhelpfully started to refer to it as the poop jacket. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister to f*** off with her rainbow baby obsession after I had a miscarriage? Me, female 30, and my sister, female 33, have been pretty close, but she's obsessed with this whole rainbow baby narrative because she had a miscarriage years ago and then had her daughter, and she's always talking about how everything happens for a reason and your rainbow is coming. I had a miscarriage last month. 9 weeks along, it was hell. I'm still in a fog about it. I told her I just needed some time and space, but she's been blowing up my phone with texts about your rainbow's coming. Don't give up. And sending me pictures of babies in rainbow onesies. It's so tone deaf and honestly it makes me feel sick. I told her, can you please stop sending me this rainbow? I don't want to hear it right now. It's making me feel worse. And then she acted all offended and said, I'm just trying to give you hope like people gave me. I told her, I don't want hope. I want you to off with this for a minute. Now she's telling our mum and my other siblings that I lashed out at her when she was only trying to be supportive. Mum called me and said that I was too harsh and that I'm taking my pain out on my sister. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I know she means well, but I can't stomach this rainbow baby right now. I feel like she's making it all about her and not hearing me at all. Am I the a-hole for snapping at her? I feel bad, but also so done with this. This comment says not the a-hole. Yeah, what helped her is great, but it's not helping you and she needs to stop. The comment below that says not the a-hole. My daughter is my rainbow baby. My wife's miscarriage before this successful pregnancy has left permanent emotional scarring on both of us. Your sister is a head. And the comment below that says your sister made your miscarriage about her by whining to your mum that you hurt her feelings by setting a reasonable boundary. She's absolutely the a-hole, but you're not the a-hole. I'm so very sorry for your loss. Yeah, same here, OP. Very much a not the a-hole consensus. This comment says not the a-hole. You need space and time to grieve. Your sister means well, but the help is not warranted right now. She needs to be supportive, but at a distance. Okay, moving on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for no longer allowing my sister or her family in my home or near my children because of her husband's ex? My sister Mary married her husband James 6 years ago after dating for a year. James was a father of 2 who shared custody with the mother of his children. At first, things appeared good. Mary told her family that James was a gentleman and a good father and that things were perfect. They said they were on the same page about what they wanted their future to look like, and I was so extremely happy for her and had a good relationship with James. James's 2 children were a little bit different. They seemed very shy and they weren't very comfortable around us, but our whole family tried to welcome them and get to know them. James said they were like that and they'd warm up eventually. I did begin to wonder after a year of them being distant, despite regular contact with us. They never wanted to join in with the other kids and the answers from them were very short and very reluctant. Then we learnt that things were not so perfect and that there was trouble with the ex and that she had badmouthed Mary and the rest of us to them and discouraged them from forming a relationship with us. We learned this after Mary and James had a brick thrown through their window and Mary admitted to me and our other sister that James's ex was unhappy with their marriage and was trying to destroy their marriage and family. Soon after that, my sister announced that she was pregnant and this is when the behavior became impossible to miss. James's ex was showing up outside their house and screaming at them. One time I was with Mary and the kids in McDonald's and their mum showed up and tried to take them off Mary. Despite it being James's custody week, she called me a B-word because I was sitting with her kids and she called my sister worse, and all in front of the kids. Another time at Mary and James's house when his ex showed up to demand the kids wanted to go with her clearly and James told her that it wasn't time for a custody exchange. The ex called Mary and James's oldest a few slurs before storming off. James James's kids were upset and they wanted to be with their mum and not James and Mary. I, along with the others in my family, tried talking to Mary about this and asking what was being done. She told us they were handling it, but it was difficult because the kids loved their mum. We told her that was no way to live, and she had the baby to think about. Then she and James had another child and nothing had changed. They pressed charges against his ex a few times, but then dropped them when the kids became upset. More recently, she started showing up at mine and other family members' houses when the kids are over. The kids have phones and they tell her where they are. They do this on family days and all kinds of times, knowing that their mum's going to show up and cause trouble. Mary told me that they want to go with her and they don't care about the risk posed by inviting her when she's like that. I heard James's daughter say that she would love to see her mum beat my sister's ass. And there were mentions of fires too. James and Mary do nothing to stop the kids sharing this info with their mum, and she's turned up at my house twice already. I have a husband and kids and I can't let this keep on happening. So I told Mary that she and her family are no longer allowed to come to my house. I told her that I don't want this woman throwing bricks through my window, or worse. I told her that I didn't like doing it, but I needed to protect my family. Mary told me that that wasn't fair and they're doing their best to deal with a difficult situation, that she has her family to think about too. Other family members are not following suit, but they support me. All except one brother who said that this was overkill and claimed that we should be supporting Mary and showing the kids we love and support them, and that we're their family no matter what their mum says. My husband is 100% in favour of this, and we also stopped attending so many family gatherings in order to protect our kids. Am I the a-hole? Did I go too far? Is this overkill? I would say that it's common sense, but maybe I'm punishing the victims. And for clarity, James's kids with his ex are 13 and 11 now. Wow, okay. That was a wild post. The top comment says not the a-hole. Oh my god, you did not overkill. You did the right thing. And the response to that comment says, I think so too. Your sister has to go through with the charges, and the kids need therapy. They also need to stay away from the mother who is clearly unfit. Tell them to go for full custody. This comment says not the a-hole. Mary and James are obviously doing nothing to stop this, and his kids are actively hostile to all of you. You're very right to put the safety of your family first, and the rest of your family should follow your example. Your sister and her husband are enabling this behavior by his ex and his kids, and it's dangerous to everyone. The one below that says not the a-hole, though I don't understand why your family doesn't get a restraining order. James and Mary may want to keep the peace, but you don't have to deal with her harassment. They really need to go to a family therapist. I'm also curious, just how much time do they spend with your family? And OP said, it was less frequent at my house. My house is smaller with a smaller yard, so less comfortable to fit everybody. But once or twice a month to all get together is pretty common, sometimes more or less depending on what's going on in our life. I never even entertained a restraining order because I didn't think that I'd get one, when it's mainly aimed at Mary and James and their kids. Also, Mary and James told everybody not to call the cops or to involve courts. They made it sound very much like, do that and we're done with you. At the time, I was trying to not lose my sister, but I realized that this could not go on. And the response says, not the a-hole. To add to this, they're not doing anything to address this. Also, Mary and James told everybody not to call the cops or involve courts. You should all have restraining orders against that guy's ex. They should have involved the cops in courts ages ago. And the comment below that too, you're not the a-hole. Not even close. You have every right to protect your home and your children. It's not about punishing the victims. It's about setting a boundary where someone else's chaos doesn't endanger your family. If James and Mary can't, or won't shield others from the fallout, then you absolutely have to do it yourself. Yeah, 100%. The next one. Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize to my mother-in-law after saying this and walking out of her house? So me and my husband have been together for nearly 11 years and married for 8. We've got 2 lovely kids, 7 and 8, and honestly we're really happy. Good relationship, stable home, great relationship with my family, but his mother, a whole different story. Things were fine when we first got together. She loved me, but the moment that we moved 17 minutes away, yes 17, down the road to a different town, everything changed. She became cold and passive aggressive and borderline hostile. Some examples over the years, and honestly it's endless. Ignored me and my family on our wedding day, didn't even bring a gift when our 9-week-old baby was in the ICU on a ventilator. My husband told her to ask me for details about the consultant's update. Her response, who? No birthday or Christmas gift for years, except one year when I got an airline freebie toiletry bag, already opened. Then constant belittling, called me an unfit mother on Facebook, claimed that I've got no career, despite the fact that I'm a university lecturer and finishing my PhD. She makes zero effort with our kids. Last time she took them out for a day, my daughter was still in a pram. Meanwhile, my husband has a brilliant relationship with my family. We do holidays and barbecues and his bond with my dad is really special. They go for drinks drinks, they hang out, all of it. Naturally, this made my mother-in-law jealous, like unhinged level jealous. Despite it all, I've tried. I've invited her around. I've kept the peace. But my husband has said that he doesn't even want them at the house anymore. That says a lot. On top of everything, she started copying my style. I wear a western and country look, cowboy boots and fringe jackets, not mainstream at all. And she now wears exactly the same stuff. For decades she dressed the same, and now she mirrors me. It's weird. Anyway, the breaking point. We recently chose to attend my cousin's 30th birthday party instead of his sister's last minute 23rd piss up. My cousin's event had been in the diary for 6 months, it was family friendly, and our kids were invited. His sisters weren't. The night before our holiday, we popped around to mother-in-law's to drop off cards and gifts. Out of nowhere, she started having a go at me, accusing me of not seeing his sister as real family and throwing shade, again about our closeness with my family. After years of taking her crap, I finally snapped. I just stood up and said, this, and I walked out. My husband hasn't spoken to her since. His siblings' reaction? What's she done now? So it's not just me. She's acting like I need to apologize. I've held it in for 9 years and never blown up. This was my one snap and I've had enough. So am I the a-hole for finally saying this and walking out? No, OP, not the a-hole. And you said this. It's not like you were like, F you. You said F this. Understandably. Yeah, like this comment says, the fact that you said F this and not F you to her, you showed more restraint than what has been earned by mother-in-law. You're fine. Your family's fine. Leave her ass behind. And the comment below that says, just go no contact already. And the top comment says, you're not the a-hole. She seems horrible to be around. And the response to the comment that said, just go no contact already, says, yeah, this. Your husband doesn't want her around. You don't have to make an effort anymore. Good for you for walking out. There's no need to put up with her abuse. End it by no longer reaching out or replying to her. Block her on social media. It's over. And the comment below that says the only apology you should give her is, I'm sorry, I meant to say you. And OP said, I really do wish that I'd said that more and more. Yeah, like, oh no, silly me. I said this. I meant to say you. The comment below that says it does feel like your husband is hanging on to his mum for you and doesn't actually want her in his life. I would not only not apologize, but I'd cut her out. Definitely a no contact situation. Like, oh no, I'm sorry. Goodbye forever. I'm sorry that you suck. Bye. Yeah, very much a not the a-hole consensus in the comments. And the next one. Am I the a-hole for ruining my sister's engagement by telling her fiance that she's been married before? So this happened last weekend and it's still blowing up in our family group chat. My sister, 31 female, got engaged to her boyfriend of about a year, Ben, 33 male. Ben's a super nice guy, a bit traditional. He's made a few comments before about how he wants to do things right the first time and how important marriage is to him. Well, here's the thing. My sister's been married before. Briefly, like 6 months, she got married at 24 to some guy that she met on a trip to Vegas and they got annulled. She never told Ben. She's very it doesn't count about it because it was so short and she doesn't think it's relevant anymore. During the engagement party, I was chatting with Ben's sister and she made a joke about how Ben's so lucky that he found somebody who's never been married before after all the divorced women that he's dated. I kinda laughed awkwardly and I said something like, yeah, well, sort of. She asked what I meant and I realized that I'd already screwed up, so I just said she had a Vegas marriage once, but it was annulled. Don't worry, they were barely married a month. Apparently the sister told Ben and Ben was pissed. He pulled my sister aside during the party, they got into a huge fight, and then the night ended early. Now my sister's furious with me, saying that I had no right to say anything, that it wasn't my story to tell, and that I embarrassed her in front of his entire family. I did not mean to start drama, I thought he knew. I wasn't trying to sabotage anything, but now my sister says I ruined her engagement and might have wrecked her relationship. So am I the a-hole? The top comment says ruining my sister's engagement by telling her fiance that she's been married before. The fiance should have been told that already, so you didn't ruin anything. The ruining was done by your lying sister. The second top comment says, what was your sister's plan? To try to keep her previous marriage from her fiance until she married him and then made it difficult for him to back out, knowing his views on divorce? That's a hell of a way to start a life together. Not the a-hole. And the third top comment says not the a-hole. She'd been lying to her fiance about something that clearly mattered to him. The truth was going to come come out eventually. Yeah, so the top comments are not the a-hole. The one below that says she was married and lived with a man for 6 months. It counts and it matters. She got it annulled, doesn't change the fact that she was married and then lied to the man that she now wants to marry. The truth was always going to come out. She'd been lying to him, lying to his family, pretending to be someone that she isn't. That's a crappy way to start a marriage. Yeah, so all the top comments are not the a-hole. And moving on to the next one. Am I the a-hole for embarrassing my boyfriend by pointing out that he never pays when we go out? I, 22 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 39 male, for almost a year. Jesus. What? 39. Okay, 22 and 39. We don't live together, but we spend a lot of time at each other's places. For the most part, things are good. We get along well, we have fun, but money stuff has become kind of an ordeal lately. When we first started dating, I was making a bit more than him, so I didn't mind covering stuff here and there. Like, I'd pay for dinner, he'd get the next one. Pretty normal. But as time went on, it kind of stopped being taking turns, and it just became me paying for everything. Where we go out to eat, I pay. Groceries, me. Ubers, me. When we order takeout at his place, he'll say, I'll get the next one. But that never actually happens. He'll Venmo me for like $6 for a coffee once every 3 weeks, and acts like that makes it even. What makes this worse is that he's not broke. He's almost 40, and even though I make more, he does make a healthy living. He has a job in tech, fully remote, no kids, no major bills outside of rent. I asked him once about splitting things more evenly, and he said that he's just bad at keeping track of who paid last. Okay, but I'm not, and I have brought it up rationally, I'm 99% sure. So a few nights ago, we were out with his friends, the first time that I'd met most of them, and somebody made a joke about him spoiling me. Like, oh man, she's got you wrapped around her finger, huh? And I laughed and said, oh, trust me, if anybody's getting spoiled, it's not me. He asked what I meant, and I said something like, let's just say that my Venmo history tells a different story. I wasn't trying to cause a scene, I said it lightly, but it got weird. His friends kinda laughed awkwardly and then changed the subject. Later that night, he was pissed. Like, super hostile for no reason at all. Said I humiliated him in front of his friends and made him look like a freeloader, and that if I had a problem, I should have brought it up privately. OP, why are you with this guy? I told him that I have brought it up multiple times, and nothing changed, so maybe I was just done being quiet about it. He slept on the couch and we haven't really talked since. One of his friends messaged me on Instagram and said that it was a low blow to call him out like that, especially when I knew that he was sensitive about money. I don't know, I'm not trying to ruin his reputation or emasculate him or whatever, but I feel like I'm being gaslit into thinking this is normal when it's not. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, like the top comment says, not the a-hole. What are you doing with a 39-year-old mooch? He's using you. Why does he not date someone his own age? Because most of them are wise to men like this. Ditch this one, find an equal. Editor add you're 22 and you make more than he does. Don't waste your youth. And this comment says 39-year-old man dating a 22-year-old and making her pay for almost everything. What are you doing with this overgrown hobosexual? He was graduating high school when you were born, for sake. The comment below that one says stop paying. You the a-hole to let him mooch off you for this long. See how long he sticks around when you cut off the gravy train. Yeah, that's pretty much what all the comments are saying. Not the a-hole, but you the a-hole to yourself. The comment below that says you did not make him seem like a freeloader. He looks like a freeloader because he's a freeloader. You're supporting a guy old enough to be your father. Dump this dead weight. Not the a-hole. Yeah, run in the opposite direction, OP. How old am I? 26? Yeah, I'm 26, so I'm definitely not 39 or 40, but oh my god, I can't imagine being a 40-year-old man or a 39-year-old man and being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna date a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old because they've been together for a year. Like, what do you mean? The comment below that says not the a-hole, but chalk this up to a life lesson learned and move on. You know why a 39-year-old man dates a 22-year-old woman? Because women his age will not put up with that nonsense. Sure, he has money, and he chooses what to spend it on. He spends it on things that are important to him. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? Actions speak louder than words. He doesn't forget who paid last. He likes the fact that he's dating a younger woman, and it's completely low effort on his part, because you're willing to pay for everything. He thinks he's winning at life. Stop paying. Yeah, and not only stop paying, but get out of there. Okay, moving on. Am I the a-hole for leaving dinner early after my boyfriend's friend introduced me as the current one? Oh my god. So my boyfriend, 31 male, invited me to dinner with his old college group. One of his female friends, 30 female, female who I've never met before came late, looked me up and down and said, "Oh, so you're the current one. Cute." What? No. Oh god, that's so aggravating. I was stunned. No one laughed, no one corrected her. My boyfriend kind of chuckled awkwardly and then changed the subject. I sat there in silence for another 20 minutes before excusing myself and leaving. I took an Uber home. He called me later and said that I embarrassed him by making it a thing and that I should have just been chill because she didn't mean anything by it. You don't say super a-holy stuff like that because you didn't mean anything by it. That's not even the point anyway. She said something super rude, super a-holy. Why should you just put up with that? You shouldn't. He wants me to apologize to her for walking out quote unquote like a child. Am I the a-hole for not tolerating that kind of blatant disrespect? No, of course not. But also don't tolerate it from your boyfriend. Get rid of him. Do not stay with your boyfriend, OP. He wants me to apologize to her for walking out like a child. Yeah, bye, dude. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, now ex-boyfriend, right? And OP said, haha, not yet, but it's definitely on the table. This whole situation opened my eyes to some stuff that I've been brushing off for too long. If he can't stand up for me in something this obvious, what happens when it's something bigger? Yeah, and he's not only not standing up for you, but he's on this other person's side. He's annoyed at you, saying that you embarrassed him, saying that you need to apologize because this person was a giant a-hole to you. Your boyfriend is not a good boyfriend. The top comment says not the a-hole. She was plain rude. He didn't even say anything. He was more concerned at his embarrassment, not yours. Perfectly reasonable response. Yeah, that's such a good point. He was more concerned at his embarrassment, not yours. Yeah, if he thinks that you embarrassed him, does he not realize how embarrassing this would have been for you? And OP said, exactly. It wasn't just the comment, it was the silence that followed. If he'd even acknowledged how out of line it was, I probably would have stayed. But instead, I was the only one who felt uncomfortable, and I ended up being blamed for reacting. Yeah, that sucks. Oh, I can't believe this one. How does your boyfriend feel justified in this? Like, oh yeah, I know I just sat there while somebody was super awful to my partner, but now I feel like I'm gonna get annoyed at my partner for understandably being upset, and I'm gonna try and tell them that they need to apologize to the person that was an a-hole to them. What a crappy partner. Yeah, like this comment says, you need to make him the X1. Yeah, like 100% the friend was an a-hole. Like they were super rude to OP, but OP's boyfriend handled this horribly. This comment says not the a-hole, his friend was openly dismissive of you in a rude way. The implication is that you're such a temporary figure that you're not even worth treating with respect as an actual human being standing in front of her. This is not just a jab at her friend, your boyfriend, for changing girlfriends often, presumably. It's direct disrespect to you by not treating you as a person worthy of respect in your own right. If your boyfriend expects you to apologize to her, then maybe he sees you in the same way that she does. I don't think that's even a question. OP said, exactly, that comment felt like more than just a snide joke. It felt like she was deliberately trying to minimize me and my place in his life, and the fact that he thinks I should apologize makes me wonder if he actually agrees with her deep down. That's the part I can't shake. He 100% agrees with the friend. You need a better boyfriend, OP. You can do better, OP. The next one says, am I the a-hole for not sharing my leftovers with my boyfriend? My boyfriend, 31 male, is convinced that it's a red flag that I, 27 female, don't want to split my leftovers with him. Basically, he's much larger than I am, so he always finishes his meals when we go out, and since I'm smaller, I tend to eat half and save the rest as a lunch for the next day during work. Recently, he's been arguing that it's selfish of me to not share those leftovers with him if he asks me for some. No, it's not, full stop. It's not selfish that you want to eat your food that you didn't finish. For example, if we're at the restaurant and he's finished, and I'm waiting to box mine up, and he says, can I finish that? I said no because I wanted it the next day. He thinks that's greedy. Oh, that's greedy, is it? Is your boyfriend for real? He feels like you're being greedy because you want to eat your leftovers for lunch the next day, but he doesn't think that he's greedy for expecting half of your food all the time? Are you joking? Sometimes he's paying for these meals, sometimes I'm paying, but I personally don't think payment really matters. I was raised in a more selfish way where my multiple siblings and I would fight over food and my parents weren't very generous either, so it is a little bit ingrained ingrained in me, whereas my boyfriend was raised in a very generous sharing household, so he was a bit alarmed that my knee-jerk reaction was no, which I can understand. Yeah, for sure, but that still doesn't mean that you're selfish. You're definitely not. And you're not greedy either. He says that if I asked for his food, he wouldn't hesitate to give it to me. He says that he would give me the shirt off his back. I guess that I'm kind of the mindset that my meal is mine, and of course he can have a few bites, but I really want to save it for the next day. He's come up with a rule that if we're going out to a nice fancy restaurant for an occasion, whatever food is left over we will equally split. However, keep in mind that he always finishes his own food. Yeah, so he's never gonna have any leftovers. He'll always be getting half of your leftovers. Curious to see if I'm the a-hole. Is it selfish of me if I don't want to share my leftovers? No, definitely not. The top comment, he's the one who's greedy, not you. He doesn't get to set a rule that only benefits him. So what, he gets more food than you every time? That's bull. He's selfish, and it isn't right that he's forcing you to give up your food, not the a-hole. The second top comment says he should just buy an extra meal. My ex used to eat the rest of any food that I had left. I started ordering things that he didn't even like, which was hard. He eats practically everything, not the a-hole. OP said, I mentioned that. I said that I would buy him more food, or even pay for my meal, but he said that it wasn't really about the food, but more so about the fact that I didn't want to share. And the comment below that one says not the a-hole. Whereas my boyfriend was raised in a very generous sharing household, so he was a bit alarmed that my knee-jerk reaction was a no. Well, interestingly, there's nothing generous from his part in this. He's being greedy, not generous, and he's twisting it around as if you're raised to be greedy, when he's the one being greedy. It'd be different if you wanted to throw away your leftovers, but you don't. You want to eat them later. But he's greedy and he wants to eat your food too. Twist the narrative around. Call him greedy and ungenerous, and that you're just wanting to save your food for later. Yeah, calling OP selfish and greedy when he's being selfish and greedy, which we read about so often. Like, how many times have we read about somebody being like, oh, you are so selfish, when they're the only person being selfish, when they are the ones who are being selfish. And the comment below that says not the a-hole, he got to eat all of his food, so you should be able to as well. Yeah, definitely show this to your boyfriend OP. He definitely needs to read the comments. Like, he's so sure that you're in the wrong. He's calling you selfish and greedy, acting like you're being super unfair. Yeah, he needs to read the comments. Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. And the next one, am I the a-hole for ordering alcohol? Am I the a-hole? I'm currently on a solo trip in Tenerife, all inclusive to save having to look for places to eat by myself. The hotel has club style seating, meaning that all tables are tables of 8 people and get sat together. Apparently it's to encourage a sense of community and conversation. Last night I was seated first and I had a glass of wine. A family of 5 got seated at my table, 2 adults and 3 children. The mother turned to me and said, "We do not wish to expose our children to women drinking alcohol." I smiled and said perhaps they should ask to move tables if that was an issue, but I would be drinking the wine. They noticed I was on my own and made passive-aggressive comments about this. I went up to get food and on return the wine had disappeared. A waiter came over and asked to see my wristband for the all-inclusive and said the family had told them that I was underage and that I must have sneaked away from my parents. He was very apologetic and returned with a fresh glass of wine just as the family came back with their food. Am I the a-hole for them requesting the waiter brought me the full bottle along with a couple of shots of vodka? The family stormed out of the restaurant when I drank the shots as they arrived at the table. No, you're not the a-hole. Of course you're not the a-hole. This comment says you're an absolute legend for requesting the full bottle of wine and vodka shots. This level of petty is something that we should all aspire to. And the comment below that says not the a-hole. You're my hero for number 1, going on a trip like that solo, and number 2 for ordering a full bottle of wine and the vodka shots to spite that mother. And the top comment says the mother turned to me and said, "We do not wish to expose our children to women drinking alcohol." Then don't take your kids to places where alcohol served. More Manila, not the a-hole. And the comment below that says what family goes to an all-inclusive in Tenerife and doesn't expect to see women drinking alcohol? They'll have to blindfold the children. Yeah, and what, only women? Like if OP wasn't a woman, it'd be fine? Yeah, like this comment says. So a woman drinking in front of her kids is bad, lying to a waiter, making unfounded accusations about you to staff, and being rude to a stranger is okay? Interesting sliding scale on that moral code of theirs. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Like, oh no, my kids can't see a woman drinking alcohol, but they can see me being an a-hole and lying, and that's completely fine. That's terrible. Like, that is so infuriating. Worried about the wrong stuff. Like, oh yeah, I'll happily teach my kids awful behavior from me, but a woman drinking alcohol? Oh my god, no! Yeah, definitely a not the a-hole consensus. The next one. Am I overreacting for asking my boyfriend's mum to stop calling me the backup plan at dinner? Oh, what? My boyfriend 26 male and I 24 female have been dating for a little bit over a year. His mum never liked me, and she's made that weirdly clear. I try to be polite and not take things personally, but it's starting to wear me down. We were at his parents' house for dinner last weekend. Things were fine until his mum started reminiscing about his first real girlfriend, saying stuff like she was so classy and put together. You know, not everybody has that natural polish. Then she smiled at me and added, but you're a solid backup plan. Some men just want simple and that's okay too. Oh, Christ. Of course you're not the a-hole. Could your boyfriend's mum be any more awful? I was stunned. I looked at my boyfriend who just kind of awkwardly chuckled and didn't say anything. So I said, could you please not refer to me as a backup plan? She gave me this innocent look and said, oh honey, I'm just teasing. Don't be so sensitive. Wow. Don't be so sensitive. How about don't be an a-hole? I quietly excused myself and I left the table. My boyfriend later told me that I overreacted. Dump him. And that I shouldn't let her get under my skin like that. Am I the a-hole for standing up for yourself? No, somebody had to. Your boyfriend obviously wasn't going to stand up for you. And then he has the audacity to say that you overreacted. Oh, my patience is wearing thin. The top comment says, I'd ditch a boy who can't stand up for not only his girlfriend, but for himself in his decision to end things with his past girlfriend. Even if it was his ex's choice to end it, he still made the choice to move on and date someone new. She also insulted him by suggesting that he was not only settling for less, but wanted simple. It was as much of an insult to him as it was about your appearance and personal style preferences. A boy will awkwardly chuckle and ignore the insensitive, hurtful comments that his mummy makes to his girlfriend. A man will recognize that despite this being his mother, her nasty, hurtful, passive-aggressive comments are inappropriate, disrespectful, unproductive, and unnecessary. He's as emotionally abusive as his mother. She telling you it's a joke, you're too sensitive, is both dismissive and invalidation of your feelings and boundaries, and both the tactics of emotional abuse. Him telling you that you overreacted and should not have let it get under your skin is also dismissive and invalidation of your feelings and boundaries, and blame shifting, all tactics of emotional abuse. The second top comment says you can't fight those comments with reason and logic. The response that you give is, how strange that you'd feel comfortable being so hurtful to somebody that your son cares about. Then when she says, oh, I'm just teasing, the reply is, oh, I'm sorry that you think being openly hurtful to somebody that your son cares about is teasing. It's unfortunate that you've been taught that being mean is acceptable behavior to those you love. Then look at her like she's pathetic. The key is how you call it out. Make it sound like what it is. A sad, pathetic attempt at passive-aggressive comments. Also, rethink the relationship. She's never gonna change. She raised him, and at best it's gonna be constant low-level conflict, and at worst he's gonna have to choose between you. It might be the first time that he's been in this position, so he might learn to stand up to her, but it takes a lot, so make sure that he has it before you commit. Edit to add, not overreacting. Oh yeah, for sure, and by the sounds of it, it's not gonna change. He'll keep on siding with his mum. Yeah, and the comment below that too, welcome to your future if you stay with him. She doesn't like or respect you, and your boyfriend has the spine of cooked linguine. He'll always take mummy's side over yours. Dump him and find a man who's an actual adult. Yeah, wow, horrifying stories today. The next one that we're gonna read. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my friend crash at my place after he roasted my apartment in front of everyone? Alright, this might sound petty, but I feel like I was justified. I, 26 male, have a small one-bedroom apartment. It's not fancy, but it's clean, it's mine, and I worked my ass off to afford it. Like IKEA everything, but I got a gaming setup that I love, and a little fake plant that's absolutely thriving. Last weekend I had a few friends over for pizza and chill. Nothing wild. My friend Kyle, 27 male, who's been kinda couch surfing lately, shows up and immediately starts roasting my place. Like he walks in and goes, damn bro, is this a studio or a jail cell? Everybody laughs, I brush it off. Then he goes, yo, where's your dining table? You just ate off your lap like a raccoon? Again, everybody laughs. I joke back, like better than eating off somebody else's couch, man. And everybody laughs again. But he doesn't stop. He jokes about my sad little gaming chair, my bare fridge, and even says that my bathroom looks like it's been through something traumatic. It was funny for like 5 seconds, then it got annoying, and then it got rude. Fast forward to this week, he texts me saying that he got kicked out of the place that he was staying and asked if he can crash on my couch for a few nights. I literally responded, I thought my apartment was too sad for you, man. Now he's calling me petty. A few mutuals said that I should have let it slide because he's going through a lot. That's not an excuse. And by the sounds of it, that's not the reason that he was being an a-hole. Guaranteed he's like that all the time. But like, why would I let somebody stay in a place that they just spent an hour clowning? Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, don't do it, OP. So yeah, am I the a-hole for not letting my buddy crash at my place after he roasted it in front of everybody? No, definitely not. And is he even your friend? And his behavior wasn't because he was going through a lot. Like, oh yeah, I'm going through a lot, so I'm gonna be super rude to my friend and make fun of their place over and over again? Nah. The top comment says, not the a-hole. The friends who think you should get over it can offer their places. And OP said, exactly. If they're so eager to play hostile manager, Kyle's got a whole group chat to crash with. I'll be here in my sad little gamer chair, not getting roasted. The second top comment says, not the a-hole, he's an idiot. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. The comment below that says, you don't want that guy in your house. People who beat a dead horse and don't take a hint are proactively rude as hell to live with, not the a-hole. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, is this guy really your friend? Nah. Like, is he really your friend? Should you be his friend? Should you tolerate this sort of stuff from a friend? No, I don't think so. Should you just pretend that he didn't say any of that and let him sleep on your couch? Definitely not. Yeah, like this comment says, not sure why you consider him a friend. This comment says, not the a-hole. Yeah, absolutely not. He's not really a buddy anyway if he sat there making fun of you all night. I also want to point out that he has some nerve making fun of you while he literally has nothing but his clothes. If he sat there all night making fun of you, you can pretty much bet that he'll have comments like that if you let him stay. Tell your friends that are calling you petty that they should offer him a place to stay. I'm all about helping out a friend, but not at the cost of my own self-esteem or sanity. Tell him your bathroom can't take the trauma. It's been through enough already. And by the way, good for you for having your own place that you're comfortable in. I hope your fake plant continues to thrive and that you have much fun gaming in peace. You worked for it. He can do the same. Yeah, very much not the a-hole. Okay, the last one for the day. Am I the a-hole for refusing to apologize to my aunt for embarrassing her by attending a family wedding with my child? I, 23 female, had my daughter when I was 20. Her dad and I were never in a relationship, just a dumb situationship from college. He's not really involved, but my parents have been super supportive, and I lived with them while finishing my degree and working part-time. We live in the deep south where religion and appearances still do matter a lot, especially to the older generation. So last weekend my cousin 28 male got married and the whole family was invited, including me and my daughter 3 female. I thought it would be fine, but it turns out that I misread the situation. I'd assumed that the bride was fine with me bringing my daughter, since I wasn't given any indication otherwise. The invitation just had my name on it, not no kids or anything, but apparently she hadn't agreed to it and only found out when I showed up. However, she didn't make a fuss of it, and at the wedding everything went fine, until my daughter got a bit fussy during the reception dinner, and I took her outside for a walk to calm her down. When I came back, the bride's mum pulled me aside and told me that I was drawing attention and ruining the picture that she was trying to present to her more traditional friends. She said that it was inappropriate for me to show up with a child born out of wedlock at such a proper event, and that I should have had the discretion to either leave my daughter at home or not come at all. I was so shocked. I told her that I wasn't ashamed of my daughter, and I left shortly after because I was so upset. Now, a few days after, my mum says that the bride expects an apology and is deeply humiliated by my lack of class. My mum says that I don't have to apologize, but that it might make it easier for the sake of peace. Yeah, screw that. I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I wasn't causing drama. My kid was dressed nicely and polite, as much as a 3-year-old can be, and we even left early. But some other family members are saying that I should have known better than to show up with a child that reminds everybody of a mistake. So am I the a-hole? Wow, that is so terrible. This comment says, not the a-hole. I'd kindly RSVP no to apologizing and no to all future events with anybody in the family who thinks that your daughter was a mistake. Yeah. This comment says, so the problem isn't that a child was there. This wasn't a child-free wedding. The problem is they expected you to know that your child should not be there because she's a shameful secret. Them. Your aunt for her judgment. Your cousin for her silent disapproval. Your mum for suggesting that you apologise for your child's existence, not the a-hole. Yeah, the comment below that piece and your archaic family. 100%. Oh yeah, I better keep the peace. Why? Why would you want to keep the peace with a bunch of awful people? Yeah, no, definitely not. You can keep your own peace, OP, by blocking these people. Yeah, very much not the a-hole consensus. The only one that I've seen so far that isn't says everybody sucks. If your child's name is not on the invitation, they're not invited. That's basic etiquette. You owe the bride an apology for that. Everyone else sucks though for their Victorian sensibilities. Very much not the a-hole consensus. All the top comments are not the a-hole. And yeah, the family sounds awful. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a great time today. That was such an adventure. We need to read something wholesome. Oh, cute little cat. No, touch me. I'm Angie. The little poking the tongue out is so cute. I love cats so much. And this one too. This hedgehog is cheering for you because you can do anything. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you, hedgehog. And that is so right, everybody. You can do anything. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you had a good time today, make sure you let me know down below in the comments and subscribe if you want to. And the comment of the day goes to Bonk Donk. Babe, wake up. Ness is narrating the video. Yeah, oh my god, Ness is talking. This is unbelievable. She sounds really familiar. That's such a funny comment, and thank you for the support. I love having the cats in the episodes. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for the support, everybody. And make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day or like every few days. By the way, things have been a little bit hectic for me and I haven't had a lot of time. That's why the uploads have been a little bit chaotic. So yeah, I was about to say, you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. But lately it's kind of been every third day. But that's okay. But you know what I'm about to say because I say it every other day. Bye!